Welcome back to the Mindful Living podcast with your host, Sana. That's me. Yeah. So, okay, listeners, if you're listening to this right now while scrolling your phone or maybe having your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, sitting in traffic, or maybe lying on your bed staring at the ceiling, I see you. Fear, doubt, stress. Okay, not literally I'm seeing you, but yes, I can feel you. Because fear, doubt, or stress are not abstract concepts. They are that tightness in your chest when money feels short, that sickness in your stomach when you receive maybe some kind of anxious message, that voice in your head that says, you're not ready. That 2 a.m. spiral about your health, your family, your future. And listeners, today we are not doing the fluffy mindset talk. We're talking about simple 1 minute practices that can actually help you interrupt the spiral, get back to the present moment, and awaken the power that is already inside you. No extra app, no perfect morning routine, just you and your human system. And to guide us through this, we have an incredible guest here. Reverend Stephen Golden is a Doctor of Divinity and also the author of Your Human Power Playbook and Your True Human Power. He helps people break free from fear, doubt, and stress with simple 1 minute practices that awaken that inner power within you. His work interestingly bridges ancient spiritual wisdom, new thought philosophy, and also modern quantum science. It may sound fancy, but then what I actually love, listeners, is that he turns all this into doable, practical tools that we all can use. Tools which can shift mindset, tap into your intuition, and move toward abundance in the middle of a very imperfect, messy life. And his core message is simple: you already have everything you need within you. Now it is time to awaken it. So, to dive deep into this, Reverend Stephen, welcome to the Mindful Living. And as always, it is an honor to have you.
Well, thank you for having me on here, Sona. You're very good.
So Reverend Stephen, let's start at the basic here, ground floor. So when we talk about fear, doubt, and stress, I mean, I wouldn't be lying that I do have fear. Sometimes it can be as late as in the night, or suddenly I see something and something that thing triggers a fear within me. Okay, what is going to happen in the future? What I'm going to tell them? How am I going to manage everything? What is going to happen? And right now there are so many things happening around us, which is kind of um, it's extrapolating, it's enhancing that fear every day, every moment. So, what do you see as the real root of that? Like, what is actually going on underneath all of this?
Well, a lot is happening. We humans are being impacted by the stuff that's happening on news, in movies, in music. But the most powerful thing is understanding the truth of who we all are. And what
Mhm.
you think about is working in your conscious mind. It's programming your subconscious mind and having the coherence of your mind to your heart, becoming with positive thoughts of joy, love, happiness. And that changes the emotions into pure love, joy, and happiness. And that changes the frequency in the body that is vibrating out into purposeful laws. Now they call that the quantum field because everything is energy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, there are so many levels at which all of these are connected. I mean, first of all, the this concept around vibration energy, I mean, um it's so at on point, because yes, everything is energy. In fact, something which I can I'm still retaining it from so many conversations is, you can fake your happiness or you can fake your entire persona, but the energy the aura you cannot fake. You cannot at all. Maybe not everyone will kind of realize it, but then sometimes I've really received, like like I have experienced conversations, where people could feel, okay, this particular person has a strange kind of energy or aura around them. So I think that is something which is scientifically also true. And then, once we get down to quantum science, I think we get down to this cosmic level of this concept, because the universe or the cosmos is not only out there, but inside of us as well. um it's a huge level. I think it even science has not even completely understood what exactly is happening. And I think sometimes, I really wonder, like, what exactly has kind of created this complicated level or complex level of cosmos within us. So yeah, absolutely connect with what you said.
Well, it's really simple. One of the great quotes is what you think about is what you bring about into your life.
Hmm. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And also, Reverend Stephen, if someone, listening to this is thinking, um, okay, that is fine, but my fear is also about the practical stuff, like I have to pay my bills. Even though I can take the best care of, my health or maybe my loved ones, but still, you know, system wise, maybe I do not have everything controlled. I have my family, I have my future to secure. How do they know whether they're dealing with a real risk or just that, kind of a conditioning that we are into?
Well, one of the things that is very understanding in the book that I wrote, Your True Human Power,
Hmm.
educates people to teach them of the truth of who every human body is. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. And when you start doing things to shift your conscious mind, you're programming your subconscious mind. And that starts helping you become a co creator with the universal laws, the divine source of your life.
Hmm. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And especially, let us try to understand the 1 minute thing here, because it kind of contradicts the very fact that, sometimes healing or maybe, um, anything that, kind of awakens us, it may take their own time. So what is this origin behind these 1 minute practices, Reverend Stephen? Like, have you applied it in your own life, or have you seen people actually getting the benefit, like, completely the life getting changed, or maybe getting onto that path of life changing thing due to
Yes,
this 1 minute practice?
I've educated a lot of people how to stop allowing like news and reading newspapers and to do certain things when they get up in the morning is to sit in a quiet space where there's no disturbance or noise.
Mhm.
Take in some deep breaths into the nose and in their internal voice say, and I am receiving all the gratitude of pure
Mm.
love, joy, happiness in the morning. And that shifts their entire daytime.
Mm.
And then I've also taught them before they go to sleep and let the body go to sleep is to have several things to say in their internal voice, or they can even speak it out loud. The power of words is very
Mm.
impactful. And if they do that before they close their eyes and let the body go to sleep, that is programming the subconscious mind. And when they wake up in the morning, they're going to be in a whole different state of gratitude and joy. And I've
Mm.
taught a lot of people that and have had a lot of feedback on how
Mhm.
that actually worked for them.
Because you have, like, worked with a lot of people, uh, did you find any kind of particular practice that has actually worked for many of them? Like maybe, breath work or maybe this manifestation or something like that?
Uh, I actually was with a lady yesterday. She was having a little problem with her hearing in one ear. And I told her before she went to bed, this has been a proven thing from neuroscience too, that it reshifts the conscious neurons in the subconscious. So I told her before she goes to bed,
Mm-hmm.
close your eyes, don't take in a deep breath into your nose and in your internal voice say, in with calmness and my hearing is healed. And then blow out like you're blowing out of a straw, blow out any stress, tension, and negative things about my health. And do that 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Proven doing it 6 times that the neurons in the conscious mind are being refired. And when that happens, that's programming the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is in the healing process of the body. I had another lady, she had she had a something wrong with her knee. I had her do it. And 2 days later, she reached out to me and said, my knee is now in perfect shape. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, that is really, really wild, because um yeah, I mean, keeping aside the real stuff here, I think a lot of problems sometimes really get solved when it's about mindset, when it's about your psychology. So I think in that way it really affects your vibration because when you have low energy, you kind of tend to get into that rabbit hole or that loop. So I think in that way it definitely makes a lot of sense here. That it entirely shifts your, entire day when in the morning you are, I mean, naturally you are at hormone or level, or you're naturally at a high vibration state. But then if you try to suppress it down through all the fear and doubt and stress, then you kind of get into loop into all those, having lots of coffee and a lot of, anxiety, that fight or flight mode. So yeah.
So another aspect, very similar, but is
Mhm.
taking the breath. Do it in the morning and do it before you go to bed. Take in a breath in
Mhm.
your nose, and in your mind, you say, in with the calmness and positive, happy thoughts. And then blow out. As you're blowing out in your internal voice, you say, out with the stress, the tension, anxiety, and negative thoughts. And do that 6 times. That is the real key to it. Doing it 6 times is refiring,
Mm.
re- rewiring your brain. That is a conscious aspect that programs your subconscious mind, and all the fear, doubt, negativity will disappear.
And also, like, I'll just push on this a bit now. Um, some people would put here, like, let's say, okay, inner power, 1 minute practices, quantum science, and they would think like, this is something like spiritual bypassing. Like, almost like you're telling people to breathe and repeat affirmations instead of actually facing systemic problems or deep trauma. So, is there a risk that these tools become a way to avoid the hard truth or the reality instead of actually dealing with it?
Well, understanding that the quantum field, science calls that now, only came into of what everything is energy in this century.
Mm.
Prior to the century, it wasn't called the quantum field.
Okay.
Spirituality called it the universal laws, which is truly the divine source.
Hmm. 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 And uh, like, of course, I think these may not be replacement, but I think these are way to increase our inner capacity so that we do not kind of collapse under the weight of what we need to face, because sometimes the solution may be simple, but it looks like, the problem is huge and we may not be able to face it. Like we tend to give up. When we talk about 1 minute practices here, there is this like an entire thought process that, we are, you know, allowed in a therapy and then also do a 1 minute grounding practices. But then when we're also talking, bringing here the quantum science, for someone who is entirely new to this, it can sound a bit complicated. So, in plain language, what does that actually mean for a person who is anxious? Maybe today, that how should I go ahead and start with this? Because it's kind of looking very complicated for me.
Well, you're making it complicated. It's not complicated.
Okay. Uh-huh.
If and that's one thing that we talked about, Santa, before, is that the draft of my book was to educate people how to start thinking,
Mm-hmm.
how to feel, and it does start at the very beginning about world history of religions, even before
Mm-hmm.
they were considered a religion, and then New Thought philosophy, which is just this they're calling that kind of a spirituality aspect, and then the quantum field, which was
Mm-hmm.
really just kind of brought into the world here in quite a few decades ago.
Mm.
And then chapter after that starts educating on various aspects of things to change the thought process, your feelings and emotions that start creating the high vibrations, because what you're vibrating out of your body is what you're attracting into your life. If you
Mm.
want to create all your intentions, desires, just learning all the steps within my book is one way. Plus, I'm also going to be starting a spiritual psychology coaching program uh,
Okay.
in 26.
That is very interesting. I mean, because, what I understand, I mean, you know, our inner state, it changes how we experience our outer world. And quantum science also reminds us that observer matters and spiritual traditions also kind of align. And I think that exactly tell us that our attention is creative.
We can create our own reality.
Exactly. No, I agree. I agree with you on that. Um, so before we wrap up, so Reverend Stephen, if I think our listeners will be very, very curious, because I'm personally also very much curious. So if listeners they would like to get a hold of all these 1 minute practices, and they would, need more guidance on this, and they would also like to connect with you, what would be the best way?
Here is a really good aspect that I can still gift an ebook
Hmm.
that was created. It's called your Human Power Playbook. And all they have to do is go to this website because it's on sale on Amazon, but I can still gift it away.
Super. Mm-hmm. No, that is. Thank you so much for that gift, and I'll
There,
be.
I just put it in the chat for you.
Oh, super.
myhumanpower.com. And you can get the
Yes.
you can get the ebook, which is your Human Power Playbook. And there's 10 steps in there that will help all of that.
Super. Listeners, I've gotten hold of the link, and I'm definitely going to make sure that all the links and the gift is there mentioned in the show notes. So just hover over to them along with this episode. And I mean, this is really, really interesting, listeners, because um, I think what we have explored here is that, we are not broken. You are not broken. You are not behind. And you are a human with a nervous system that has been trying to keep you alive. Now you get to teach it what safety and power feel like. The power is within you. And through Reverend Stephen's 1 minute practices and his wisdom, his knowledge, I think it's high time that we get to unlock that real power within us. So thank you so much, Reverend Stephen, for this really honest and very, um, you know, dealing all the questions and answers with clarity, because that's exactly what we need right now today.
Well, and that's part of the Human Power Playbook. And it's also my book called Your True Human Power, that
Hmm.
is really to educate, influence, and awaken you to the truth of who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all deserve
And
to. Hmm.
other people have questionable things, kind of like what you're doing right now. But the reality is this, that if you start understanding the truth of who you are, which is we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, and that what you think about is what you bring about into your life. It's really simple. Thoughts are things. So if you're having negative thoughts of fear, doubt, that's what you're going to attract. But if you're having thoughts of pure love, joy, and happiness, that's what you're going to bring into your life.
Exactly. Exactly. Couldn't agree more. And once again, thank you so much, Reverend Stephen, for this much needed um, approach. And of course, thank you so much for your words of wisdom. Much needed.
Well, it's really good to be with you too.
And to all the listeners, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Um,
And of course,
this is the mindful.
I always like when you tell everybody, Reverend Stephen Golden, Doctor of Divinity. Yeah, I went from getting my ministerial license, and then I was
Mhm.
blessed and so grateful because I shifted my thought process, my feelings, and I learned so much. And I
Yeah,
achieved my Doctorate of Divinity degree. So
fascinating.
even on Zoom, it's pretty funny. You see Dr. Stephen Golden, Dr. Golden.
No, no, it is fascinating. And to all the listeners, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And just take one mindful minute after this episode ends, before you jump back into your day. Just one, and trust me, that will make you definitely feel amazing. And until next time, this is your host, Sana, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you.
Okay.